you have mixed emotions. You have mixed emotions. You're satisfied with the verdict, of course, but no matter what the verdict is, it won't bring back George. It won't give Thelonious Rodney and his sister their brother back. Um, and along with this verdict, it won't stand alone and stop systematic racism. So, you're still going to be fearful of what the law can do to you. It's just in this circumstance, it was so overwhelming what this man had done to George Floyd that he couldn't be just like the guy down in South Carolina that shot the guy and tried to drop the taser by him. It was caught on camera what he did, and he still tried to cover it up and almost got away with it. So, I mean, where we are, um, it's it's justice for George, but it's a shame that George had to give up his life for this justice.
I know, Mr. Blake, you must, you know, the emotions running through you leading up to this, right after, you are coming up from this from a very different perspective. I mean, than you were just months before your son was shot by the police. How how has that changed? I mean, watching this right now, and if you had been watching it 6 months ago, it's got to be so different for you.
Well, it's different because the Floyd family is my family now, and we've become very close. And along with Breonna Taylor, the Cole family out of which there's a lot of families, uh, Eric Gardner's family. We've become uh, we're a part of a fraternity that we didn't choose to be a part of. We just became. It was thrusted on us, and you know, I just my heart is so much with George's family because you're at an interesting crossroads. You feel like you found justice, but you still don't have your brother. And of course, I look at it differently now because it was it could have gone where I didn't have my son anymore. Instead of him being paralyzed from the waist down, he could have been DOA. Uh, but it's so traumatizing for you to have for a family member uh, for that to happen one of your family members. It's very it shakes you from your core, from your and man, I just it's really it's kind of and I've never been overwhelmed ever to speak, but this is kind of overwhelming. So he has to go through that, but he's optimistic on his future, and he's determined to walk again. And I, I will that. I push that out in my conscious to his conscious. I push. I just want to see him stand up again, and it'll make him so happy. Figuring this interesting situation out. Hopefully, Congress will pass the George Floyd Act that's what we all stand in unity with, is getting that George Floyd Act passed, because then it'll take away the immunity of the police so that we won't have these problems in charging the police. Because up to this point, you've never seen police testify against police. Never. Never until today. Until with this trial, not today, with this trial. Hopefully, that is something we're gonna have good cops stand up against bad cops. You know, there was never enough Serpicos in New York. You know, there was never enough stand-up guys on the police department in Chicago where we could trust the Chicago police. Wisconsin is the most racist state in the United States. And, you know, people say Mississippi, no, Wisconsin. You know, and they put that policeman back out on the street. But we need to pay attention to this. George Floyd was in Minnesota. That's the North. That's not the South. That's the North. You know, and we act like it can't happen. And it happens. And it's truly, we've been telling people about this for years, and nobody believed us. Nobody believed this is what, now you're seeing it in real time. It started with Eric Gardner. You know, he was choked to death. And they said, oh, you didn't see him get choked. That wasn't a chokehold. Oh, okay. So you couldn't tell us that wasn't a knee on the back of George's neck. The knee has been proverbial on the back of Black people's necks for 401 years. So we, you know, when will we be equal? When will we not be 3/5 of a man? When will my education equal up to a Caucasian gentleman's education? When will my ability to speak be held up to a Caucasian gentleman's ability to speak? Women have been fighting for equality for the longest. When will we all be equal and seen on the same level as our counterparts? Why do we have to fight so hard? Why is it's day in and day out that we have to prove ourselves to be better just to keep what we have? That's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair that socioeconomic means racial divide. You know, because of the amount of money a zip code or area code or whatever code you put on it, that's separation. Why can't it just be judge for who you are, not what I look like?